Madam Chair, what's the definition of insanity?
Of sanity or insanity?
Insanity.
Insanity?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting
But
a different outcome.
Right. And what was we ranked in reading and math in 1979?
I'm sorry, what?
What was we ranked nationally in math and reading in 1979?
We were very, very low on the totem pole.
We're number one in 1979. Today,
Oh, in 1979,
1979.
I'm sorry. Okay.
In 1979, we were ranked number one in, around the world. Today, in reading, we are ranked 36th. In mathematics, we're ranked 28th. It's not working. What we're doing is not working. We're throwing money at the problem today. We have $1.6 trillion out in student loans. We have 50% of the $1.6 trillion, which is 42.7 million borrowers, that are current, only 50%. 30% is either deferred or in default, and 20% are just gone. Here's what's scary, is the biggest growing population that's defaulting on their loans is 50-year-olds plus. It's a problem. It's a huge, huge problem. So my colleagues want to complain about you making changes. Thank you. Because we're wasting taxpayer dollars, and it's not paying a dividend back, which is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. We deserve better. Our kids deserve better. Our taxpayers deserve better. And we have to make changes. So thank you to yourself and to President Trump, who's got the backbone to say, hey, let's make some changes. Can you explain how the budget reduces wasteful spending and ensures taxpayer dollars are used efficiently?
Well, I do believe that as we have combined a lot of our competitive grant programs to a simplified funding measure. So we have cut the total amount. However, as I was mentioning earlier, the amount that is going into the states will be in some states call it a block grant or a single allocation to that state, and it'll be controlled by those closest to the child. It'll be the governor, or it'll be the state superintendent, or it'll be parents and teachers making sure those dollars are maximized within the state. There are a lot of programs, some successful, but not all of them, that have been just awarded. It's a little bit like mission creep. You start a department, you start programs, and suddenly we have 264 different programs in the Department of Education that we're trying to fund and get to these states with not fully having an overall understanding of how well they are doing. So I believe that by consolidating them and put them in a single grant that will go to the states, they can best spend that money. If they need more mental health, if they need an area of concern that's in their state, they know where to send that money much better than the bureaucracy in Washington. So we're cutting regulation, but at the same, we're cutting some of the spending, but we're also cutting regulation to help pay for that.
Well, so that kind of leads to my other questions of what steps are you taking to reduce bureaucracy and streamline the department's operations, which I do appreciate that, because my mother was a special ed teacher. My brother-in-law is currently the principal at Guthrie High School. My aunt retired as a special ed teacher. My two sisters went to school for special ed, and it is frustrating for them to sit in the classroom and not be able to actually meet the students' needs, but have to meet to a testing standard that these students with special needs can never achieve. As my mom used to say when she was teaching back in the 70s, that she taught these kids, how to try to live on their own, how to just simply take care of themselves through hygiene, how to actually be able to understand their finances to some degree, to be able to wash their clothes, to be able to maybe cook a meal. And we hate to take it down that far, but at some point, these kids are going to be out of high school, and taking the test isn't their future. They're taking their tests as learning how to depend on themselves to some degree, to the most they can, to live the fullest life of their potential. And not having the resources to be able to do that in these schools are tough. And so the bureaucracy affects that. And by the way, it affects the entire school too. And so by cutting that red tape, you're helping the teachers, and the teachers are the one that's desperately crying out for help. They went to school to be educators. Let them teach, because they can do a phenomenal job. They have a heart to do something that I don't. I tell people all the time, I don't have the patience to be a teacher. But those that do, I want to give them all the help they can without having to worry about the red tape and the bureaucracy along the way. So I appreciate you pushing this from Washington, D.C., and letting the classroom make this decision for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've been joined